Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, want to begin this lesson by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Wahar Rakah Kodash, which in the ancient Hebrew tongue would be the correct names of the Heavenly Father, His beloved Son, and the Holy Spirit. Also want to give double honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom, much due honors and respect to the sincere brethren out there as also laboring in his work. So yeah, this lesson right here is going to be pretty much my 2 cents as it concerns this whole voting fiasco that's going to take place throughout America. And the fact that the very ones that's going to be at the forefront of that whole movement will be you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which are indeed the biblical Israelites. And according to the scriptures, it's forbidden for you Israelites to vote, especially as it concerns setting up a leader to be over you that's outside of the nation of Israel. All right? And although that might seem like a subtle thing, or something that's minute, yet that's a direct insult to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Because in a roundabout way, you are lobbying and casting your ballot for one to lead you, and you acknowledging that the ideas and philosophies and legislations and laws of a power that's outside of your power is worth you voting for, and following the guides of, a power that's not your power. Because when you vote, okay, whether it's on the level of voting in a city councilman or a mayor or a governor or even a president, it doesn't matter what level, you are acknowledging that this guy is fit to be your leader. You see? And everything is set up in the spirit, because I got this one neighbor who, this guy's into, the embetterment of the community, and I chop it up with this guy from time to time. He tried to get me to come out to these different community meetings, he's one of these guys that pick up the trash around the neighborhood. He want to clean up the neighborhood, and he believe in voting, and it's the spirit, because I haven't talked to him maybe in a month, all right? But the last conversation I had with him prior to this morning, he was talking about we need more so-called black people in these high positions. And the spirit had it where I was on my way to work this morning, and that was the first guy I bumped into, and the words he uttered to me was, hey, make sure you vote, And, I handled it, with wisdom. I was like, yeah, okay, bro, I hear you. And I kept it moving. But that act alone was a declaration of rebellion, man. And that's the MO of Israel. And this whole thing of voting is an indictment on you that you're the very generation who rejected our Lord Yahweh Shai as being king. And this is one of the main reasons you're going to be put to death, all right? That's why Yahweh Shai made the statement in Luke, the 19th chapter, those mine enemies who would not that I should reign over them, bring them hither and slay them before me. And that was talking about you damn Israelites, man. Because you refuse to have Yahweh Shai as your king. And this whole thing of voting is a declaration of that, all right? So I want to start off with an example of that in the book of 1 Samuel, the 8th chapter. I started at the 4th verse. Then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together and came to Samuel unto Ramah, and said unto him, behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy ways. Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations. Yeah, and that's always been the struggle between the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, through his son, Yahweh Shai, in this stiff-necked rebellion of Israel, man, okay? They wanted to follow after the other nations. And they making this statement, you know, saying, make us a king to judge us like all the nations, was a direct insult to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Why? Because the Heavenly Father, through his son, is the king of Israel. That's why the scriptures tell you that Israel is the Lord's portion. Meaning what? The Lord is our king, man. Now, there are cases where the Lord will raise up a king amongst our people, you know, like Moses, who later became King David in the reincarnation, if you could receive it. And, you know, as well as different leaders like Joshua, you know, and ultimately Yahweh Shai. This is who the Lord raised up to lead Israel. Yet our people, they look to be led, and they want to follow the customs of the other nations, man. And that's a direct offense to the law itself. Matter of fact, let me get that, and I'm going to go back. This is Deuteronomy, the 17th chapter, and the 15th verse. It says, thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy power shall choose. Salakia. You know what? Let me jump up to the 14th verse. Salakia. It says, when thou art come into the land which the Lord thy power giveth thee, and shall possess it, and shall dwell therein, and shall say, I will set a king over me, like as all the nations that are about me. Yeah, and we just read that. Okay? When you vote, you following the customs of pretty much Esau, the so-called white man. You following the customs of the other nations. Verse 15, thou shalt any wise set him king over thee. Yeah, so you don't supposed to set anyone over you, okay? Whom the Lord thy power shall choose, one from among thy brethren shall thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. And Israel is guilty of that, you know? Our people have voted in strangers. For an example, this guy, Barack Obama, when this guy was elected president, it was a record-breaking number of voters, you know, those who turned out to vote amongst Israel, in particular you so-called Negroes, man. Not knowing that Barack Obama is not one of us. That homo is a Hamite, man. He's a so-called African, all right? And you set him over you, man, which was in direct offense to the law. Now, you're going to have different voting booths in these different schools. And guess what? In a lot of these churches, they're going to have setups where you can go in there and vote, okay? And they claim to know the scriptures. You see? That's why Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is in the process of bringing judgment on the children of Israel, all right? So this is a law. You are not to set anyone over you that is not of thy brethren. Meaning Yahweh would be the one who would set up men from amongst you to lead you, man. You see? So when you go back to 1 Samuel, the 8th chapter, in the 4th verse, it says, then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together and came to Samuel unto Ramah and said unto him, behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy ways. Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations. See? Verse 6, but the thing displeased Samuel. Right, just like it displeases us today. You know? Samuel was a great prophet, and we come in the stead of the prophets. So when we see you people voting, that displeases us. Why? Because the Spirit of the Lord is on us, man. And this ultimately displeased Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And I'm going to say this, man. If you subscribe to Great Millstone and you follow the teachings of Great Millstone and you going out to vote, man, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is going to deal with you, man. All right? You are not to vote. All right? And if you didn't know any better and you come across this video, then you just repent. You see? It's not for us to vote, man. Furthermore, your vote don't count. Okay? They voted this guy Barack in and they celebrated like they won the damn championship, man. I'm talking about you so-called Negroes, man, in particular. And it didn't change nothing, man. All right? Your leaders failed you, who you set up to be your leader. All right? Again, verse 6, but the thing displeased Samuel when they said, give us a king to judge us. And Samuel prayed unto the Lord, Yahweh. Verse 7, and the Lord said unto Samuel, hearken unto the voice of the people in all that they say unto thee, for they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me. See, that I should not reign over them. See, so when you vote and you desire and you lobby for someone to be set up over you, yeah, it might seem like a small thing, but in doing so, you actually rejecting Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, man. All right? Verse 8, according to all the works which they have done since the day that I brought them out of Egypt, even unto this day. Yeah, because you people is rebellious, man. And your action shows that you would not have Yahweh Shah to reign over you, man. That's the king that the Lord set up to be over us, Yahweh Shah. All right? Wherewith they have forsaken me and served other gods, so do they also unto thee. Verse 9, now therefore hearken unto their voice, howbeit, yet protest solemnly unto them, and show them the manner of the king that shall reign over them. And Samuel told all the words of the Lord unto the people that asked of him a king, and he said, this will be the manner of the king that shall reign over you. He will take your sons and appoint them for himself, for his chariots, and to be his horsemen. And some shall run before his chariots, and he will appoint him captains over thousands and captains over fifties, and will set them to ear his ground, and to reap his harvest, and to make his instruments of war and instruments of his chariots. Meaning what? The king that you set over you is going to make you a slave, man. Okay? He's going to put hell on you. And he would take your daughters to be confectionaries, and to be cooks, and to be bakers. And he would take your fields and your vineyards and your olive yards, even the best of them, and give them to his servants. And he would take the tenth of your seed and of your vineyards and give to his officers and to his servants. See? And he would take your manservants and your maidservants and your goodliest young men and your asses and put them to his work. Yeah, and really when you read this, this is dealing with Saul. But this actually echoes to this very day. You got to remember the scriptures is alive and well, man. In pursuing Romans, the 15th chapter, the things written aforetime was written for our learning. So when you attempt to set up these leaders, you know, you set up these leaders with the hopes of, you know, flourishing and coming from under that oppression, but you are further oppressed. See? Verse 17, he will take the tenth of your sheep, and ye shall be his servants. All right? Verse 18, and ye shall cry out in that day because of your king, which ye shall have chosen you, and the Lord will not hear you in that day. Yeah, so that's going to play out again today, man. You know? When you set this guy Barack up, you eventually cried out, man. Because you was getting shot down by the cops still. You know, every other day it was a story of a so-called unarmed black man getting shot down. You was still catching hell, man. You vote in these different leaders, and when you pulled over by the cops, I don't give a damn if you got paperwork and license, insurance. You feel nervous because in your spirit, you know you're being oppressed, man. And that devil could blow you away, all right? So yeah, you vote in these different leaders, yet you still end up crying out to the Most High. But he's not going to hear you, man. And we coming into the time where it's going to get real out here, all right? It's going to get very real. When this money crash, they're going to begin to open up these concentration camps where a lot of these people are going to be tortured, man. You see? So from there, let me get another example of the rebellion of Israel, man. And the fact that you're going out voting today is nothing new, man. You know, you just declaring that you would not have Yahweh Shah to rule over you. See? This is St. John 19, and starting at verse 14. And it was the preparation of the Passover in about the 6th hour. And he said unto the Jews, behold your king. Yeah, and to set the stage, this is Pilate. And he presented Yahushua to you so-called Negroes, man. And he said, look, this is your king. You know, and that was set up in the spirit because Yahushua is your true king. Verse 15, but they cried out, away with him, crucify him. See? And that is the same spirit today, man. When you go out and vote, and when you go out and lobby for someone to be your leader besides your true king, in a roundabout way, you saying away with Yahushua, away with Yahushua. See? But they cried out, away with him, crucify him. Pilate said unto them, shall I crucify your king? The chief priest answered, we have no king but Caesar. See? And that sentiment is echoed to this very day, man. Caesar is symbolic for the powers that be. You see? So when you go out and vote, you saying to hell with Yahushua, we have no king but Caesar. All right? So yeah, I just wanted to go into that. Just want to throw in my little 2 cents as it concerns this whole voting thing. And you know what, man? May Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua bring judgment on you niggas out there, man. All right? You spics, you Latino, you damn niggas, man. All right? No, you get pissed, man. Because here it is. On one hand, you cry out against the oppression of these devils. Then, in the same breath, you trust in his system, man. You know, here it is, you voting, and you following the guides with this man set up, man. You know? So may Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua hasten that wrath that he got prepared, man, for you damn Israelites, all right? With that, shalom.